Where will Forza Horizon 6 be based, and more importantly, will it be based in the very highly anticipated Japan, which fans have been wanting probably since Forza Horizon 3. Now, people have been talking about the potential location of Horizon 6 pretty much shortly after Horizon 5 came out, which was definitely quite a surprise to be based in Mexico, which I can't say many people saw coming. Even the car videos coming up close to the release date, where there was slight information started to come out, it did actually successfully manage to stay quite under wraps, which brings people a lot to be able to think about. Well, will Forza Horizon 6 be the same sort of surprise, or will it finally be that location that an overwhelming majority of the community actually wants to go in and see? I'll be covering a fair bit of evidence. Let's get right into it. Drop a like and subscribe. So firstly, I'll be bringing up a few things in particular. Now, some of these things I've shown in the past, but a few things have changed since then, and I'll get into that as the video goes on. So of course, firstly, we have this article from GameJobs.co. This is a quite self-explanatory site, pretty much for development or jobs in the gaming scene. Particularly in this reference, it's actually talking about Forza Horizon 6, our Playground Games are openly looking for more recruitment to be able to have development of their team for this upcoming game. Obviously, this shows development is in stage of Horizon 6. I don't think it's much of a surprise for anyone, but the more important thing is that within the actual context of these applications contains slightly more information about what the scope of the work was. Of course, developing the map, the location of this certain game, which will revolve around to be the next racing game in their franchise or in their series. And supposedly there was a little bit of information which one of the developers, who wasn't necessarily related to Playground Games but was related to the recruitment process, posted showing a sort of sketch out of map or a sort of a mock art cover of Horizon 6, which clearly showed Forza Horizon 6 being based in Japan, with of course the Apollo XI or the IE in the photo, with Mount Fuji in the background, probably more important. Now, will this be the cover of Forza Horizon 6? I highly doubt it. I wouldn't say that this cover would have been made so far in advance, and not to mention, it does even say Xbox One exclusive, but then the top right it also says Xbox One X at hand, so it's a little bit contradictory. Obviously, it's more of a mock art, or at least an indication of what it might look like, but it definitely is not final, so I take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it is interesting to see the fact that there is actually a Forza Horizon 6 map circulating from someone related to the recruitment process, yet despite the fact it wasn't necessarily finalized, could mean something they're trying to show to us. Now, the second thing I'll be showing are maps. Now, there's been quite a few maps, and similarly, some of these are actually very intricately detailed. Other ones are just more general or rough ones that have been made by fans having a little bit of fun with it, but other people allege that these are actually either ones that we will see in development, or they're ones from scratch processes. So of course, or scrap, sorry. Forza Horizon 6 could have well been in development. They could have made a map, then scrapped it. Maybe it was too big, maybe it wasn't compatible, or maybe it just didn't align with what they were looking for. But this provides a good example. I'll show one of them on screen. With Mount Fuji, Tokyo, Kyoto, and more, it's actually quite a diverse, like I said, a very accurate map. Now, there are a couple other ones I'll be showing as well. This one is probably the pinnacle as being the most accurate. It has the full Tokyo map. It's got quite a good depiction given the size of the sort of city and also rural aspects of Japan, all coming into one to be able to have a self-serving map with potential to drift around, have long drives, max out car top speeds, and more. So I really do like the bridge in the bottom right and the little island there. It's a very cool map. Honestly, I'd say this is pretty good for someone on Reddit just making it, so I'd have to say it's very possible this was an actual concept in-house. But then I'll show other sort of concepts that were made that are a little bit more relaxed, not quite as sophisticated, and are probably just some people having a little bit of fun with it. Now we're talking about the release date and what we can expect for Forza Horizon 6. So overall, as we've seen, Forza Horizon 4 had over 1 million players first week, Forza Horizon 5 had over 10 million players first week. All this is more so related to it being pushed in the Game Pass and all the paid copies of the game. You might be thinking, well, what's my point? My point is that the audience of Forza Horizon has grown super significantly and exponentially as each game has come out. Forza Horizon 4 was remarkably larger than Forza Horizon 3, and Forza Horizon 5 was hugely larger than Forza Horizon 4 when it comes to its initial release. Now, perhaps Forza Horizon 4 was more successful over time due to arguably having more longevity, which is in relation to the more sustained play base and game copies continuing to sell over time. But irrespectively of these sort of intricate details about the statistics of each game and how popular it was, the main purpose is that as the audience have grown, the expectations have grown as well. There's more at stake for Forza. They can't just push out a new Forza Horizon game one year, then a Motorsport, then a Horizon year on year. As we can see with Forza Horizon 4 to Horizon 5, it was a 3-year transition, and I'd say it will be more than this for Forza Horizon 6. I think the odds of Forza Horizon 6 coming out this year are next to none. We recently saw Forza Motorsport. It's pretty clear with the big updates still coming to Forza Motorsport, they're still trying to fix up whatever mess of a game that is. It's not right that Forza will just overshine it by releasing a Forza Horizon game pretty shortly, less than a year after the release of the Motorsport. It's going to make a lot of sense it could be coming 2026, but people have been saying that's when GTA 6 will be coming, which of course would kill Forza's release. So maybe it could be early in the year before GTA 6, as that will, deny it or not, it will be a big sort of landmark in games wanting to steer clear of that kind of release date given the hype about it. So the stakes are higher, and the point of this is that the games will likely be more content rich. If this means I'll be putting more time into one of these games, more DLCs, more content to try and make it bigger and more lasting, long-lasting game, that could make sense. So in terms of release date, I would say it won't be 2024. 2025 is very likely. It's probably not going to be 2026. I mean, think about it. That'd be that's a 5-year gap. I don't think Forza will quite have enough sustainment in Forza Horizon 5 to keep their pockets full until then. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like and subscribe. But of course, guys, if you're interested, check out the Forza modded accounts at MitchCactus.com. We've even recently offered Red Dead Redemption 2 accounts as well as GTA, Call of Duty, FIFA, and more with over 10,000 Trustpilot reviews. But more than ever, comment down below where you want the game to be based. Comment down below your thoughts on this video and the evidence I've shown and what you think is most likely. But thanks all so much for watching.